Excuse me. Shit, excuse me. There we go. We're finally up. Man, I don't know what was going on. This thing did not want to connect to go live. I can't. I don't know. I don't know what happened. But we're good. We're finally good. All right. Ah, man. Welcome back, Kick Squad. I'm so excited for another live. Tonight we got two videos, just two. I'm gonna try to keep this live under an hour at least. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna do my best. But both videos are about 20 minutes each. Not too bad. But we got Mr. Ballin, another story from Mr. Ballin, and we got some slapped ham for you. All right. Slapped Ham's video is called Scary Videos That Are Actually Real. I think this published last night. So I'm not too sure what might be on it, but hopefully we get some different content. We've been seeing a lot of the same stuff lately. So let's let's hope that this is a little fresh. All right. So I rambled on long enough, man. A minute. I didn't get cussed out. I've been seeing a lot of comments. I don't know if they're trolling or just actually genuinely trying to make the live better, but critiquing me talking too much in these opening minutes. So I'm gonna cut that back. I do know I ramble a lot, so that will be addressed. So thank you for your critiques, whoever you were. But all right, first video, slapped ham, scary videos that are actually real. Kick your feet up, get your popcorn. I hope you're ready for it, man. Let's get it.
How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Boy, we've got some absolute bangers for you today. These are the scariest clips going around the internet right now. So hit that subscribe button and get ready for more creepy content. Just like this. A mysterious orb-like object captured on video over New York City's Hudson River has ignited speculation. The sighting, captured on a Fox 5 News broadcast, showed a bright object zooming across the skyline near the World Trade Center before disappearing. This follows a Pentagon report revealing a near miss between a plane and a UFO near the city. The object, recorded by a helicopter, moved rapidly from Hoboken, New Jersey towards Manhattan. Theories include light reflections, an out-of-focus bird, or even an unidentified aerial phenomenon. Experts calculate that, if physical, the object would need to have travelled at 2,700 miles per hour, nearly matching the speed of the Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird. Harvard physicist Avi Loeb suggested the orb could be sunlight reflection, while UAP expert Alejandro Rojas noted its transparency and motion might indicate light refraction rather than a solid object. Both dismissed it as a typical balloon or bird due to its unusual movements. The Pentagon's latest UAP report, which includes 757 cases.
See, with this video, man, I don't know what to believe or what to think. Because it's moving super fast, but everything else almost looks like it's standing still, but you can kind of see the boats, they are moving. So and another question I would have to I guess justify the validity of this video, what else is that high in the sky that's recording this thing? You know what I mean? Like it's seeming too fake and staged to me. I could be wrong. I could be bugging, but it definitely seems staged to me. So I don't know. You guys let me know what you guys think about that in the comments, man.
Between May 2023 and June 2024 highlights similar orb-like sightings. While many were identified as balloons or drones, several remain unexplained. The report also noted trends in spherical objects and incidents near sensitive airspace. The New York orb sighting, paired with recent UAP disclosures, has renewed interest in unexplained aerial phenomena. Whether a natural artifact or something more extraordinary, this event underscores the ongoing mystery surrounding UAPs.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about this one.
TikTok user Sensei Shuri International has sent shivers down the spines of viewers with a haunting discovery while kayaking alone in mid-November 2024. The eerie footage shows the user paddling down a serene river when they come across a chilling sight.
I don't know if anybody can see this or not, but I just reported it.
There's a car fully submerged in the water.
That is an SUV. Look at this.
The user mentions that authorities were immediately contacted. However, the situation takes an even darker turn. Watch.
Dad, pay attention. We're swimming to the edge.
Who is that?
You can hear a faint childlike voice whispering in the background. Some claim the voice says, "Dad, pay attention," while others claim they can hear, "Get out of the car, get out of the car."
Dad, pay attention. We're swimming to the edge.
The user was all alone when they filmed this incident. In a follow-up clip, authorities can be seen pulling the vehicle from the water. As the car emerges, you can see what appears to be movement in the back seat.
Oh.
The faint, shadowy motion has sparked intense debate, with some theorising it could be trapped air or debris, and others claiming it looks disturbingly like someone or something alive back there.
Yeah.
The eerie nature of the discovery, coupled with the unexplained voice, has led some to speculate that this could be a residual haunting, a supernatural imprint left by a tragic event. Could the car have plunged into the river during an accident, leaving behind echoes of a moment of terror? Others suggest the movement in the car might be tied to the paranormal, with theories of lingering spirits tied to the vehicle or its passengers. While the true story behind the submerged car remains unknown, this incident has captivated the TikTok community, leaving viewers questioning what really happened on that lonely stretch of river. Whether a chilling accident or something more supernatural, one thing's clear: this discovery is nothing short of spine-tingling.
How did no one notice this car get in this river? Because I guess they would have had to have driven down the side, not on the bridge, to get in the river. I don't know. It just seems like there would be some signs that around this area where this car went in. At least you'd think there would be. At least I think I would think there would be. But that's and I wonder if the kayaker heard the voices while he was recording, or if he just heard them after playing back on the video. That's rough, bro. That's crazy. It's weird. I wish I could explain that.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Chris coming to you. Another one of my crazy crossroads. Big Joey C is here with me.
In a June 2021 episode of C's Crazy Crossroads, YouTube adventurer Chris and his friend Joe visit an abandoned house in Ohio, rumoured to be haunted. The house, owned by Joe's uncle, is said to be built on a Native American burial ground and haunted by the aggressive spirit of its original owner, Daniel. Locals report eerie activity, including lights visible in the windows before the house was wired for electricity. Armed with their courage and cameras, Chris and Joe embark on a spine-chilling journey through the house, encountering an onslaught of unexplained activity.
Clearly you can see the house is under renovation.
I gotta chill right away.
Shortly after entering the house, Chris and Joe hear loud, unexplained knocks and bangs.
Oh yeah, look, they...
Hey, did you say something?
Sounds like...
Hello?
Hello? Oh boy.
The sounds echo through the house as if someone or something is responding to their presence.
Hey, your phone is on, Joe. Whoa, what the frick? That was down below, or was that over here?
As they cautiously explore, a high-pitched scream, which they believe sounds like a woman, pierces the silence.
What?
I just heard a woman. I just heard a woman.
What the was that? Oh, jeez!
While investigating the ground floor, they capture some strange sounds.
That just said get out. It was a guy.
Then, as they venture upstairs, the sounds of footsteps above them grows louder.
Again. Where?
That's when suddenly this happens.
It's upstairs.
Oh my goodness!
Whoa, whoa. Did you just trip over there?
Nope.
Okay.
Moments later, while investigating the noises, more plasterboards topple over.
Dude, are you serious right now? What is that, Joe? Who's down there? Joe. Oh my God, look at that!
Meanwhile, the footsteps grow louder as if something unseen is walking just above them.
Joe, what the
That's upstairs. That's upstairs.
Testing the spirits, Chris asks them to knock once if they want the pair to leave.
Daniel, if you want us to leave, if you feel threatened by us, can you knock once for yes? Twice? Bye. See you, dude. I'm going downstairs.
While exploring outside of the house, things turn from creepy to downright chilling.
Joe, Jesus, that's a... It was moaning, you hear that? Oh my God. Oh, Joe, look in there, look in there, look.
Watching that again in slow motion, Chris spots what appears to be a hand in the upstairs window. While still outside, one of the more disturbing moments of the night happens. The camera catches this.
It's a sticker.
Oh God.
What?
What?
There was another image.
It can be hard to see at first, but if we watch it again in slow motion, there appears to be a face just on the left-hand side of the window. As the investigation draws to a close, the duo hears moaning and screaming sounds.
Joe, you don't hear this?
Yes, I do.
Neighbours later confirm they often hear similar noises from the house, further cementing its haunted reputation. The investigators note sudden drops in temperature and an unsettling gas-like smell throughout the house. Both men feel physically affected, with Chris describing sensations of weakness and unsteadiness in his legs. Despite the overwhelming fear, Chris expresses a desire to return for an alone challenge. The episode ends with both men pleading with the spirits not to follow them home, reflecting on the intense, responsive activity they've just witnessed.
All right, guys. Oh my God, it won't stop. All right, we're leaving. Don't follow us home, whatever you do.
For fans of paranormal investigations, this episode offers a chilling, step-by-step journey through a house teeming with the unexplained.
If you feel threatened by us, can you knock once for yes? Twice? Bye. See you, dude. I'm going downstairs. I'm getting the out. Joe, come on, man. Seriously.
That was
On May 24th,
that was crazy. Now, of course, a lot of that could have been, of course, all that could have been staged, but I don't know, man. I felt a lot of sincerity in it, a lot of real fear in it, but I don't know that. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments below, because it's weird to me, or not weird. I won't say it's weird. I don't know how possessions work, but do they normally, like, whatever this was inside and outside? Is that normal? Is that common? I'm not sure. I thought they were trapped in but I guess they can follow people home too, right? If it's a demon. Can ghosts follow people home? I don't even know. I don't even know how the rules work. I need to, though. I'm so confused.
2023 at approximately 10 p.m, a baby monitor captured something that's left one family deeply unsettled. The footage, shared by Marquette Jean, shows an eerie moment in her daughter's bedroom that sparked both concern and speculation. The video begins innocently enough, with Marquette's young daughter sitting quietly in her room. However, what grabs attention is the way the child seems fixated on the window behind the camera. She stares blankly, as though captivated by something unseen. However, as the child remains focused on the window, the camera suddenly picks up movement within the room. The family has a theory about what or who may have visited that night. They believe it could be their beloved cat, who passed away in August of 2022 after battling cancer. Could it really be the spirit of their late pet making one last visit? While the idea of a ghostly presence, especially one tied to a family member or pet, may be comforting to some, it's left Marquette and her daughter completely shaken.
Is there a cat in here? Is there a cat in here?
No.
Oh, sorry. Love you, good night.
Here's a quick and eerie one from the Instagram account Buto Deko Kahini. It's 2008 in a remote area of Indonesia when two locals are passing over a bridge. They see something shifting in the dark, so they take out their cameras and begin filming.
Where's their top half?
While the clip is brief and scant of details, it hasn't stopped it from going viral. Rumour has it that this bridge is haunted by the spirit of a lover who took her own life after her marriage ended badly. While it's a spooky story, could it really be true? Watch the clip one more time and make your own mind up.
Where's your top half?
I'm about to show you the single scariest video I've ever seen in my life, and I'm being so serious.
This next eerie piece of footage was shared to TikTok by user Jordan Veronica. What begins as a typical movie night for two individuals, Joe and Jordan, quickly spirals into a bizarre and unnerving experience.
Where the is shit, that? Jordan, I'm on movie website. What? How did that happen?
Instead of streaming the film they intended to watch, the pair inadvertently accesses a live feed from someone else's security camera, displaying what appears to be the interior of an unknown room.
What are they? Jordan, someone's asleep right there. Oh my God!
Don't stop!
Jordan, look at his feet. Someone's asleep right there, Jordan.
Some viewers theorised that Joe and Jordan were using a bootleg movie app, which might have been compromised by hackers. These speculations suggest that the app could be serving as a backdoor for hackers to intercept home security systems, potentially allowing unauthorized access to private security camera feeds. This theory highlights the dangers of using unofficial or pirated apps, which often lack security protection. While the mystery remains unsolved, one thing's clear: this chilling moment underscores the potential risks of modern technology and the growing importance of protecting personal privacy in an interconnected world.
Wait, did you see that? Someone just moved it. Wait.
I'm recording.
What are they? Jordan, someone's asleep right there. Oh my God.
Joel, stop!
Jordan, look at.
I guess, man, I don't even know what to think, because I guess, and this is why I don't have the Google Home or Alexa or none of that crap. Like, anybody could hack anything. Like, our security cameras could get hacked, honestly. But that's weird. Is that a bedroom? Is that a Now, a question I would have, because I like weird, deranged stuff, is this that person who's sleeping? Do they know that camera's there, or did somebody else put it up illegally without them knowing, and they're being watched? You know what I mean? Like, is someone who's not supposed to be outside of these two, but is somebody who's not supposed to be watching that feed of whatever goes on in this room with whoever that is sleeping, or whoever else might be in that apartment or that house? Things to think about, people. Things to worry about, I get. And it's crazy to say, but you really do got to worry about privacy being infringed. Like, I got to make sure my camera's not running when I don't want it to, or my phone's not recording. You know what I mean? All that weird hacker crap that people played off as a joke before, but really need to take seriously now.
Look at his feet. Someone's asleep right there, Jordan.
Coming up in our last segment in just a few seconds, we take a look at some unsettling events that are transpiring on the borders of North and South Korea. But before we do, remember to hit that subscribe button, then tickle that little bell icon there and turn on all channel notifications. That way you'll be notified every time we drop our scary and fascinating creepy content. In a chilling escalation of psychological warfare, North Korea has begun noise bombing South Korean border villages, inundating residents with eerie, loud sounds from its infamous loudspeakers. Residents of Dangsang-ri, a small village in Gangwon Island, described the relentless broadcasts as
Welcome back,
disconcerting
Aaron.
and exhausting, likening the cacophony to ghostly screams, grinding metal, or artillery fire. The broadcasts, which began in July, reportedly last up to 24 hours a day, pushing villagers to the brink of despair. The use of loudspeakers as a propaganda tool along the Korean demilitarized zone is not new. Since the 1960s, both North and South Korea have used them to hurl insults and spread propaganda. However, the current broadcasts mark a departure from the past. Instead of propaganda, the North's speakers now emit unsettling sounds that villagers describe as deliberately irritating. Unlike past messages, which often featured pleas for defection or insults directed at rival leaders, these new noises, ranging from ominous gongs to howling wolves, appear aimed at psychological disruption rather than persuasion. The residents of Dangsang-ri, located just 2 kilometers from the North Korean border, have borne the brunt of this noise campaign. With most of the village's 354 residents in their 60s or older, the incessant sounds have had severe consequences. Locals report insomnia, headaches, and even livestock distress, with goats miscarrying and hens laying fewer eggs. To cope, villagers have resorted to desperate measures, keeping their windows shut and covering them with styrofoam in an attempt to block out the noise. The noise bombardment reflects the worsening relationship between the two Koreas. Under Kim Jong-un, North Korea has adopted a hawkish stance, cutting off dialogue and intensifying missile testing. South Korea, led by President Yoon Suk-yeol, has responded with expanded military drills and calls to spread freedom to the north, further deepening hostilities. Experts believe the psychological warfare is a response to Seoul's growing alliance with the US and Japan. The barrage is seen as an unconventional yet impactful tactic in this geopolitical chess game. For now, the residents of Dangsang-ri endure the uncertainty of when, or if, the relentless noise will stop, caught in the crossfire of a decades-long conflict that continues to play out in unsettling new ways. Over on our second...
Hold on. First of all, I don't know what was supposed to be spooky or scary about that. I'm very confused, but that is definitely just like I don't want to be sad right now. Like feed me the story of how North Korea is still effing up South Koreans. Question I have though, why don't South Koreans just decide to say F it and destroy all those loudspeakers? You know what I mean? Like a lot of them on on the poles, or even built, or the ones that were on the walls. You could take a hatchet or something to those cable lines and end that suffering right there. Or maybe you can't. I don't know. I don't know. I just at some point I would feel like I'm done with this. Let me just 86 that pole with them speakers on it, or tear the speakers off that wall, and my people ain't got no problems no more. Or maybe I just don't fully understand the dynamic between North and South Korea. I know it's bad for them, but I don't know the full ins and outs of what can be done, can be even said on South Korea's side to make their lives a little better. I'm not even sure. Let me see. Aaron says those poor people. Yeah, man. I definitely get the annoyance factor, but if it's so much, if it's causing so much stress and pain where your goats are miscarrying and your chickens, like your livestock is being that drastically affected by it, I would need to find something real to do to alleviate that. They're probably gar I guess so. But if they're planted in South Korea, or I guess on the border, so man, I need more answers. I need more answers to these questions, because like, are they aiming these loudspeakers in North Korea towards South Korea on that border where South Koreans won't cross over, or do they have it planted in South Korea all over, and then South Koreans just accept it and just deal? So many so many questions.
Channel, we've just taken a deep dive on the fascinating and mysterious Travis Walton incident. Here's a little snippet.
In the inky depths of the Apache Sitgreaves National Forest, on a chilling night in 1975, an ordinary man embarked on an extraordinary journey that would forever blur the line between fact and fiction. The tale of Travis Walton, a young logger who vanished into thin air, only to resurface with a mind-bending account of alien abduction, has enthralled the world for over 4 decades. What began as a seemingly routine missing persons case transformed into an electrifying personal odyssey, one that thrusts us into the shadowy realms of extraterrestrial encounters. Join us as we peel back the layers of this astonishing narrative, where truth dances on the precipice of the unknown, and where the inexplicable events of that fateful night still beckon with questions yet unanswered. Vanishing Act, the unearthly mystery of Travis Walton.
If you want to get the full details on this mysterious case, we'll put some links to the episode in the description box down below there. It's also pinned in the comments. Check it out, interact, and you'll see more of our second channel in your feed.
We're definitely going to have to get in our slapped hand mysteries videos very soon, because a lot of these stories I've never heard of, and I'm very interested. But before we hop into our next video, our last video, I got a little PSA for y'all. Just watch this for me real quick, please. What's good, Kick Squad? Real quick, I want to give you the official giveaway rules for our 1,000 subscriber giveaway. All right. Now, what you win is $500 towards any sneaker of your, and they have to be sneakers. Can't buy anything else. Can't get the money. Any sneaker of your choosing, valued up to $500. Not over. Don't include shipping either. But any sneaker valued at $500, you pick it. We'll order it, and then we'll get that shipped to you, preferably before Christmas. It should be here before Christmas to get it to you in time for the holidays. Okay. Now, how you enter: you must be subscribed to my YouTube channel. You must be following me on Instagram, and the biggest, you have to be present during our live stream December 13th at 8 p.m. Okay, you have to be in there at 8 p.m. I'm going to give you a code word at the beginning of that live stream, and I'm going to say it some random time throughout the live, and you're going to have to put that in the comments if you hear it, and that will put you automatically in. Like, once you put that code word in the comments, that'll put you in the drawing. So you have to be there at 8 o'clock to know what the word is, and you have to be present during the live. Sorry. All right. So just those three things, man. Got to be subscribed, got to be following, and you must be present during that live stream. All right. I'm excited for this, my very first giveaway, man. More to come for sure. But I'm so excited to be able to give back and show my appreciation for all the love and the everything you've given me back to make this worthwhile for me. And I'm only at 1,000. I can't wait to what it feels like to be at 10,000. So thank you all from the bottom of my heart, and good luck to everybody participating. Peace. What's good, Kick Squad? All right, y'all. So yeah, make sure you're definitely here on the 13th for that live stream, man. I think it'll be fun. I'm excited. I really am. I just put in my Instagram. You can just go to Instagram, search Mo Better Kicks, and I'll pop right up. Hold on. Eris. The sneakers really man. Yes, a lot of them do. Now, with this giveaway, you have up to $500. You don't have to get only one sneaker. You could get 2 or 3 pairs, totaled up to $300, if that's what you want to do, or $500. That's the $300. Total up to $500 if that's what you want to do. That's fine. But yes, you'd be surprised how high the value for a lot of these sneakers is. But all right, let's get into our last video. Another story from Mr. Ballin. The creepiest attic in America leaves detectives shook. Okay. Now, again, this is for mature audiences only. All right, man. Without further ado, let's get it.
Sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction, and today's story definitely demonstrates that. But before we get into that story, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, and you've come to the right place, because that's all we do, and we upload once a week. So if that's of interest to you, please offer to make the like button a nice fresh batch of donuts, but instead of filling them with custard, fill them with mayonnaise. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly uploads. Okay, let's get into today's story.
What?
On the afternoon of July 18th, 1997, a man was driving down a road surrounded on both sides by trees in a rural part of Wisconsin called Douglas County. There were no other cars on the road, and so this guy was driving pretty fast. And as he rounded this bend in the road, something out the passenger side window on the side of the road in the grass caught his eye. He couldn't tell what it was, but it was a pretty big object. And after he drove right past it, he just couldn't stop thinking about it. Like whatever it was, it just seemed out of place. And so for whatever reason, this man felt compelled to actually stop and go see what it was. And so he slowed down and parked on the shoulder. He got out and began walking along the road back in the direction of this object. And as he got closer, he began to see this object again in the shoulder of the road, and it was sort of obscured by grass and other things, so he couldn't see what it was. But as he got closer, he saw the object was pretty big, and it was all white. And as he took a few more steps and got within maybe 20 or 30 feet, he finally got a better look at this object, and he just froze. Because the object was a man wearing all white, a white suit, a white belt, white shoes, all white. And
oh snap! I forgot. Man, I forgot Mr. Ballin, his videos are based on real events and real stories. Man, this is gonna mess me up because I'm not ready for the realness of it. Like I was expecting just like a Dougie video where he's just giving you something lightly based on true events or true stories, but no, Mr. Ballin, he's coming at you with the realness. Prepare yourselves, man. Prepare yourselves.
And he was laying on the side of the road, just totally motionless. And for a second, the driver thought, maybe this guy is sleeping. But after taking only a few more steps and getting a totally unobstructed view at this guy, he saw there was a gaping hole in this man's chest. He was obviously dead. And so the driver turned around, ran back to his car, sped to the nearest house, and called 911. The next morning, a Douglas County detective named Stephen Long was sitting at his desk looking at the photos of the dead man in white. This murder case was less than 24 hours old, but already this was one of the weirder cases that this detective had ever been assigned to. The victim had pretty much immediately been identified because he was carrying on his person his wallet, and in his wallet was his driver's license, and so they knew who he was. But the man in white's identity actually made the whole case more confusing, not less. And Mark had no obvious ties to the area, so what was this rich guy doing 3 hours from home, dressed all in white, getting shot to death on the side of the road? Like, it didn't add up. The dead man was a 45-year-old millionaire named Mark Foster, and Mark lived 3 hours away in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and had no discernible ties to Douglas County. And so the detective was thinking, what is this rich guy doing here, dressed head to toe, all in white, getting murdered on the side of some local random back road? But things only got more confusing from there. After the medical examiner did Mark's autopsy, he told Detective Long that he had discovered a note inside of Mark's shoe. And the note just said, "Jack Frazier isn't here, but it's Jimmy Bailey? Or a lookalike? I hope I'm okay." Now, nobody, including Detective Long, had any idea what this note meant. It was far too cryptic. But when they ran Jack Frazier and Jimmy Bailey's names through their database, the police discovered that both of those men, one, existed, and two, they lived in Minnesota, same as Mark Foster. And so naturally, Detective Long began to suspect that maybe those two men, were connected in some way to Mark Foster.
I don't know if I'm taking this the wrong way, but does this one guy have multiple personalities? Am I the only one taking it that way? Like he might just have multiple personnel. I'm so confused, but I'm too impatient to just sit and not speculate and let him tell the damn story.
Foster. Maybe they were involved in his murder, or maybe they were actually his killer or killers.
Oh, so they're different
He didn't
people.
know, but it was his best lead.
Okay.
So Detective Long decided he would just have to go to Minneapolis to try to find out more. A few hours later, Detective Long parked his car at the Minneapolis police station. He got out and walked inside the building. Waiting for him inside was the local detective who Mark had already spoken to. And so after meeting this detective, the two of them went into an interview room where Mark Foster's wife was waiting for them. And right away, Detective Long noticed that she was very pregnant and at least 15 or 20 years younger than Mark. But despite that, she seemed very composed. It would turn out she had already been told about her husband's death, and she was basically resigned to the fact that she was here to try to answer questions to figure out what happened. And so the detective sat down and they began to interview her. And then when they brought up the note that was found in Mark's shoe, specifically when they said the two names that were on that note, Jack Frazier and Jimmy Bailey, When they said that, it triggered something in Mark Foster's wife. She immediately began to cry, and then in between sobs, she would tell the detectives that she knew who those two men were. She told them that she had previously had relationships with both of them before marrying Mark. And she said after she married Mark, Jack and Jimmy became very jealous. They didn't like the idea that she had chosen Mark over them. And so she had always felt like those two, Jack and Jimmy, sort of had it out for Mark as a result of this romantic rivalry. After the interview with Mark's wife ended, Detective Long began to think that, despite this case appearing on the surface to be very odd and confusing, that perhaps in reality, it was quite simple. Maybe Jimmy and Jack were so jealous of Mark that they killed Mark. I mean, based on what Mark's wife had just told them in the interview about them being romantic rivals of Mark, and also the fact that that note was in Mark's shoe and named those two men, it certainly seemed very possible. But over the next couple of days that Detective Long began digging into this theory, that theory fell apart. Because it would turn out Jack Frazier and Jimmy Bailey had absolutely airtight alibis. They simply couldn't have been the killers. Now, Detective Long was obviously frustrated. He felt like he really had it here. But he was not deterred. He decided his next move would be to try to better understand his victim. To this point, he had already interviewed a lot of Mark's friends and family, but something he had not done yet was simply go to Mark's house and have a look around. So Detective Long got a search warrant, and on July 29th, roughly a week after Mark was killed, Detective Long, along with another detective, pulled up in front of Mark Foster's large 2-story home in the middle of a quiet suburban neighborhood. Now, from the outside, the home looked totally ordinary relative to its neighbors. But once they got inside the house, it was anything but. The detectives made their way up to the front door and knocked, and a few seconds later, Mark Foster's wife opened up the door and let them inside. And right away, Detective Long is looking around, and he's seeing all over the walls on the first floor of the house are these graphic pictures and paintings of naked people. And then in addition to that, on some of the coffee tables and various surfaces on the first floor, right when you walk in, are all these pornographic magazines and books everywhere. And Mark's wife didn't acknowledge any of it. She acted like it was completely normal to have all this stuff right in the front part of your house. And so the two detectives are looking at each other as, Mark's wife is leading them on this tour through the first floor. And at some point, Detective Long just said, "Hey, Mrs. Foster, why don't you have a seat on the couch and you just let us take a look around your house on our own?" And so she said, okay. She sat down on the couch, and then the two detectives, they left the living room, went back to the front of the house, and made their way upstairs. And once they got upstairs, they found the master suite, and there was all this bondage gear inside. There were leather straps attached to the bedposts, there was whips and handcuffs, there was also additional pornographic material in there. But, considering what the detectives had seen downstairs, this sort of felt on par for this house. And so after searching the other bedrooms and other rooms on the second floor and finding more pornographic material basically everywhere, the detectives found their way back to the hallway in the second floor, and they noticed there was a rope hanging down from the ceiling, and it was attached to the pull door that led to the attic. And so the two detectives, they walked over, they pulled the rope down, it revealed this fold-out set of stairs that came down from the attic, and once those were in place, the two detectives began climbing up. And once they got up there, they discovered that this attic was not a storage space like many attics are in American homes. Instead, this attic was a fully functional room that sort of resembled like a satanic dungeon of sorts. All the walls were totally jet black, and there were all these burned out candles all over the place and tarot cards littering the floor. And on the back of the attic, basically all the way on the other side, there was what appeared to be an altar that sort of overlooked the entire room. And on the altar were more candles, and there was a voodoo doll. It's totally creepy, and the two detectives are looking at each other like, what's going on here? And so the detectives, they climbed all the way into the attic, and then slowly began walking across towards the altar. And when they got close enough to actually see the altar up close, they just froze. Because sitting on the altar, in addition to the candles and the voodoo doll, were two business cards. Their own business cards.
Whoa, what? I can't wait to see oh man, can't wait to see how this all ties together. That's- I don't know what's wrong with these people. Something ain't right in what they say, Madison, Wisconsin, or something like that. Is this Wisconsin? Can't remember where the hell they're at, but something's wrong in that state, and remind me never to go.
Hey, it's Mr. Ballin here, and I am so excited to tell you all about a brand new podcast from Ballin Studios called Redacted Declassified Mysteries, hosted by the incredible Luke Lamanna. From covert government experiments to bizarre assassination attempts, Redacted dives deep into the astonishing true stories of uncovered secrets, lies, and deception within the world's most powerful institutions. Governments and military services around the globe have always cloaked themselves in secrecy. But history shows that when you try too hard to hide something, it only makes people more curious. Luke and his team have spent months researching these totally true and thoroughly twisted tales, guaranteed to keep you on the edge of your seat. Stories like the mind-bending truth behind Operation Paperclip, where former Nazi scientists were smuggled into America to advance US technology and intelligence during the Cold War. Or the shocking story of Charles Manson and the CIA, revealing how a notorious cult leader might have been entangled in a web of covert operations. Trust me when I tell you, the stories are real and the secrets are shocking. Follow Redacted Declassified Mysteries with Luke Lamanna on the Wondery app, or wherever else you get your podcasts. You can listen ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Spotify.
I'm gonna have to listen to that.
Detective Long and his partner immediately went downstairs and confronted Mark's wife about the attic. Like, what's going on up there? Why are our business cards on your altar? But Mark's wife, the second that attic was mentioned, went silent. She refused to speak about anything to do with the attic. And so after a minute, realizing this conversation was going nowhere, Detective Long and his partner called for backup. And as they waited for backup, the two of them stepped away from Mark's wife and began speculating, like, is this a cult? Was Mark a part of a cult that ran it out of his attic? Like, what's going on here? And are we being targeted by the cult? Is that why our names are on the altar? A few minutes later, backup arrived, and they would do a much more extensive search of the property. But other than finding more pornographic materials and, bondage gear, there really wasn't anything else substantive that connected Mark or his wife to what happened to Mark, or what Mark was even doing in this house. Was he in a cult? They didn't know. And so ultimately, Detective Long and his partner told Mark's wife, who still is being quiet at this point, that she should not leave town because they were going to follow up with her soon. Now, in fairness, Detective Long couldn't tell if Mark's wife was being silent and not talking about what was going on in her house because, she was complicit in some way in what happened to Mark, or if she was maybe being threatened by somebody and she was afraid to talk. They didn't know. But either way, after leaving the property after the search was over, Detective Long and his partner felt like their next move was to try to learn more about cults. They needed a cult expert. And it just so happened there was an occult bookstore very close to Mark's house. And so they decided they would start there. And right away, their decision to go to that bookstore paid dividends, but not how the detectives expected. It would turn out the owner of that bookstore was indeed a cult expert. But much more importantly, and relevant to this case, was that the owner happened to personally know Mark Foster. And he told the detectives that Mark came to his bookstore all the time, and also the owner said he knew a bunch of Mark's friends. And so by the time the detectives left the bookstore...
Wow. I apologize real quick. I want to acknowledge someone new in the live. Redo Gaming. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, my guy. Probably he abused her to the point she couldn't bear with it any. Oh, you think she killed her husband? See, there's still, I don't know, man. That's a great possibility. There's so many, like, this story could go either way. And still, why are those two detectives' business cards on the altar? Where'd they randomly come from? Had they had dealings before and these two, the cops didn't realize it? Like, there's so much that could be going on right now. It's crazy. I'm a little bit late on the stream. Oh, that's all right, man. I appreciate you for stopping in and sitting here kicking it with us. First time, man. First time. Whew. Hey, do me a favor. Do me a favor. Y'all in the comments right now. Anybody else watching? Comment where you're watching from. I'm curious where everybody's from. I just don't matter. I'm just very curious where everybody's watching from tonight. So I like the channel. I appreciate that. I really do, man. Any critiques, good or bad, let me know in the comments. I want to do anything I can to make this channel a lot better. I want to keep growing this community, this family, man. I'm opening up my own occult apothecary as we speak. Really? Oh, I see. Okay. Usually, and okay, so for me, because I'm ignorant, and I'll admit it, when I hear the word occult, occult, I instantly go to negative. So one day somebody's gonna have to explain to me what that really means. You know what I mean? Like occult studies and stuff. What does that really mean? Because I'm thinking, okay, we're talking witchcraft and stuff like that, maybe, or am I wrong? Let me know in the comments because I'm ignorant, apologetically. She certainly killed her. Is that the vibe everybody's getting? She killed her husband? Because I mean, I guess because yeah, she definitely was quick to blame her two exes. So you think she staged everything, the note in put the note in her husband's shoe with those guys' names. Mm, I'm curious. I'm very curious. Stuck in Kansas. Ain't nothing wrong with Kansas, is it? I don't think I've ever been to Kansas. I've been a lot of places. I don't think I've ever been to Kansas. Redo says, obviously enough, but why was it a sac? That's what I'm saying. That's where my mind's at. Like, what's that about? Was it just out of abuse, or is it maybe the devil claiming his rights? That's another great question. My mind is I'm just as lost and curious. Occult means unseen. Okay. So it doesn't have to pertain to witchcraft or anything. Like it could just be anything. It's not necessarily witchcraft. Because that's where, and again, I'm apologetically ignorant to the term. So when I hear occult, I'm instantly going to witchcraft. So what I'm hearing is, or what I'm seeing is, it doesn't have to be solely based on witchcraft. Okay. All right. See, learn something new every day, man. I appreciate you, Aaron, for enlightening me and educating me because I need it. I really do. Cult of Satanists. So now, and if they're a cult, if they are a cult, there's can you have a cult with just two people, or do you like have to have a multitude of people involved to consider yourself a cult? Right? Am I wrong? Like can you be a cult with only two individuals, or is this a group of people now that are going to get brought into this story? From Tunisia, North Africa. Whoa. Okay. I have yet to have the honor of being able to travel to Africa. I do plan one day. One day I will take a trip to Africa. Um, I've been through Greece. I've never been to Greece. But man, that's awesome. I appreciate you for rocking with me tonight. You're a level-headed individual. I respect. Well, I try. I do my best. It took me years to get to this point. I'm not going to lie to you, but I appreciate that. If you've seen The Wizard of Oz, then yeah, that's it. I don't. I'm sorry, I'm slow with these comments. I don't know what you mean. If you've seen The Wizard of Oz, then yeah, that's it. Are we talking about a cult? I'm a practicing witch as well. There is no devil in the pagan community. I'm a practicing. Really? See, when I was I just got out of basic training, so I was meeting new people in the army. I met someone who was, they said they were a practicing witch, but then I never got to see them again. Didn't really get to have conversations. It was basic training, so either we were sleeping or we were killing ourselves out there training. But I don't know if I've ever actually met anyone who was a practicing witch. I have so many questions, and we're never going to get this live done because I'm just full of questions now. The four of them were a cult. The four. Oh, so you're talking about the husband, the wife, and the two exes? Oh man, I can't. So many questions now. So many questions. If you're ever here, just drop a message. We'll do my best to show you around. Definitely. Oh, definitely. I you're on my list now. I'm definitely gonna hit you up because that trip's definitely gonna happen for sure. Two people does not make a cult, just two crazy. So you do have to have more than two people to be a cult. See, that's why I need you guys, because these questions I would have no idea how to answer them. Oh, okay. I got you. I see what you're saying. All right. Caught up on comments. Caught up on comments. All right, let's finish this video. Well, hello, I'm your first switch.
They had learned a little bit about cults, but more importantly, they left with a list of names the owner had given them of known associates of Mark Foster who maybe were involved in whatever was going on in Mark's house, and so maybe they had information about what happened to Mark. The detectives were able...
Is it just me, or do these pictures of Mark Foster not fit his wife? Like, he looks like he's from the 50s, the 60s, maybe the 40s or 50s timeline, and she's more present day. Or am I bugging? Like, it doesn't, like, he could be her father or grandfather, old pictures of her grandfather or something. Like, it's not clicking with me, and I don't know why.
To track down everybody on this list very quickly, and they were all young people in their 20s. And in each of the interviews they conducted, each of these young...
But did they say that? Did they ever actually reference their age difference? Okay, so I don't know how I completely missed that. I appreciate it, because I definitely missed that comment. I don't know how, but okay, then that makes more sense. Now that makes me wonder why. Why are you with someone who could be your grandfather or father? I don't know how much the age difference was, but so many questions. Let's continue.
Young people were very open about being in what they called a religious group that they said Mark was a part of as well. Now, the detectives theorized that this religious group was very likely a cult, like they believed.
True.
But they didn't call it a cult. They called it a group. But the detectives didn't let up. They kept pressing these people until eventually a new name surfaced, Greg Freisner. Now, none of these people said Greg was in charge of the cult. Instead, they just sort of said, well, talk to Greg if you want more information about our group. The detectives naturally began to wonder if this Greg person was the cult leader, or maybe he was Mark's killer, or maybe he was both. But regardless, it seemed pretty apparent that they needed to talk to Greg because he might have more information about what happened to Mark. It took a few days, but the detectives were able to track
Yeah.
Greg down, and they brought him in for an interview. And boy oh boy, did Greg have a story to tell. Based on what Greg told the detectives, here is what happened to Mark on the day that he died, on July 18th, 1997. On that day, Greg Freisner met Mark Foster at Mark's home. And when Mark came outside, he was dressed head to toe in white, something he would do for special ceremonies. And so Mark, he came down the steps, didn't say a word to Greg. They went to Greg's car. Greg hopped in the driver's seat, and Mark climbed into the back seat. And before long, they took off and began driving northeast. And for hours, these two just drove in total silence. Mark just stared out the window, and Greg focused on driving. The only thing that happened during this multi-hour-long drive was at some point Mark pulled out a piece of paper from his coat pocket, and he wrote something on it, and then after staring at it, he kind of smiled and tucked it into his shoe. And then a little bit later, Greg pulled over on the side of the road in Douglas County, Wisconsin, on this random backcountry road. And as soon as they pulled over, again without saying anything, Greg and Mark got out of the car and they went around to the back of the car where the trunk was. And the two men are kind of stretching, it's been a long drive, taking in the scenery. And then before long, Greg pops open the trunk. And in the trunk is a rifle. Neither man have any strong reaction to this. Greg just reaches down, pulls the rifle out, and Mark, calm as can be, just begins walking over to the side of the road, to the shoulder. And then once he got to the shoulder, Greg came over and stood right in front of him and just looked intently into Mark's eyes, looking for the signal. And at some point, after Mark kind of composed himself, he nodded at Greg. At which point Greg raised that rifle, placed the barrel directly on Mark's chest, and fired. Mark crumpled to the ground, and he laid there for a second just moaning horribly, and Greg just stood over him watching until finally Mark went silent and died, at which point Greg casually went back to his car, got inside, and drove home. The only time he stopped was to throw his rifle into a nearby river. But once Greg got home, he was overjoyed because he knew the sacred ritual he had just carried out with Mark had been a total success. It had gone exactly to plan. It would turn out Mark Foster was absolutely a member of that religious group, the cult, if you will. Except he was not just a member. He was the cult's leader. And Mark is the one who orchestrated his own death. However, Mark did not view his death as him actually dying. Quite the opposite.
We celebrate life as we celebrate death. Death is nothing to be afraid of. Death is a great crossroads. A change in attitude, a change in longitude, a change in the way that we perceive our spirit. When we reach that portal, they'll ring some golden bells.
He believed that what he and Greg, his most devout follower, were going to do, this sacred ritual, was after Greg fires the shot into his chest and ends this body's life, that his soul, his consciousness, and his power will be transferred into Greg. Basically, his soul will go into Greg. And Mark believed once this transfer happened, that basically he would be immortal, that his soul would never die. It would stay in Greg and then maybe at some point get transferred to somebody else, but basically he would be here forever. The bizarre note that was found in Mark's shoe, the note that he wrote and stuffed in there, that note was designed to throw police off the trail. He knew that he was having Greg murder him, again for this ritual, but he wanted to make sure Greg didn't get caught. And so he wrote on the note very specifically Jack Frazier and Jimmy Bailey. Those two people he hated. He hated that they had been in past relationships with his wife, and they hated him. And so he figured if he was going to create a scapegoat for his murder, who better than his romantic rivals? They had nothing to do with it. He just named them in that cryptic note to get them in trouble. As for all the pornography and bondage gear that was found inside of Mark's home, well, that all played a role in Mark's cult as well. He was a firm believer that the more sex he had with his followers, often multiple followers at the same time, the more powerful he would become. As for the detective's business cards found on the altar up in the attic, those were very likely placed there by followers of Mark, so members of the cult, in an effort to potentially, thwart their efforts to solve the case. They might have believed that by placing those on there and performing various rituals, that somehow would prevent them from solving the case. We don't know for sure. That's the theory around why they were there, but obviously that didn't work because the detectives solved the case. Greg Freisner would ultimately be found guilty for playing a role in Mark's death. He obviously was the trigger man.
What? What the hell? What is going on, America? Let me get caught up on comments because I need a drink after this story. Holy hell. Aaron says there are plenty of traditions that dress in white for ceremonies. Yeah, I do. I know that. I understand that. Yeah, but it's weird. Like he sacrificed himself to try to stay immortal and place himself in someone else's body when that person's just going to spend the rest of their life in jail too, or worse. That just it I don't know. That seems intense. That logic, I don't I don't get it. And it's not okay. So it's not just me that logic is it's just not computing. Uh there is no logic in this. It's just blind belief but and excuse my phrase, but Christianity, Buddhism, Hindu, like all these religions, it's the same thing. No matter what you believe, a lot of people will look at it as just blind belief and stupidity. Not saying there's any there's any logic or proper reasoning behind what these people were doing, because that's out there. I'm not co-signing that. No, but I'm just saying there are people who will look at religion and the belief of God or whatever that same way. Sex magic is probably the weirdest, the strangest thing I've seen in on a YouTube video. That is the strangest. I got nothing for that. Transfer of power was used a lot before as sacrifice to gods, but he wasn't from my understanding, he wasn't transferring power to anyone else. It was solely for his longevity and immortality, as it was what he was trying to do for, right? Like it wasn't to honor or praise any god. It was solely for him. Or did anybody? Did I misunderstand that? Yeah, it's definitely. It's just yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy. Yeah, I didn't get that either. Then what is the point? Like, would you not want to? Why would you want to keep going through that? The logic isn't logic computing with me. It's weird. He said they are not the same as Satanism. There is no normal sense in something that worships being evil. I I can't disagree with that. I really can't. But I don't even know enough about Satanists to even try to play devil's advocate. Now, something about saying devil's advocate now just rubs me the wrong way. So I'm gonna try to stop saying that. But I agree. I agree. Redo, I agree with you. Buddhism is not a religion; it's a way of life and a belief structure. Really? I've spent majority 30 plus years thinking Buddhism. Spent the majority of my life thinking Buddhism was a religion. Man, okay. See, please. I'm gonna say this a lot. Please excuse my ignorance. I'm sorry. I'm still learning. Apparently, he said to transfer his power to the next, so he thinks he is the. Okay, yeah, that's what I was taking it as. It was just him, not trying to push or prop up another entity or anything like that. Yeah. Okay. Man. Let's finish his story, man. We got a minute left. Let's finish this.
And so he was sentenced to 10 years in prison. As for Mark's wife, although she definitely knew about the cult and may have been a participant, there was never any evidence that actually connected her to Mark's murder, and so she was never charged with any crime.
An American.
But so they couldn't. Did they not think she was guilty, or did they just couldn't find the proof to tie her to it? Because I don't. I mean, I guess realistically, even if she knew about it, what could she do? Or what could they charge her with if they proved she knew about the murder, but it was his decision. So is that even considered murder? Isn't that more like assisted suicide? Uh, Man, these stories, Mr. Ballin and these stories got me messed up. Uh, Buddhism is the base of Kung Fu, which is a discipline, not a belief. Not just a belief. So what, not that it matters, and I'm just thinking out loud. What what religion do Buddhists, would that be, I don't know. I'll have to look that up. Because now I'm wondering what religion Buddhists follow. Uh, you're a good man. We all learn something new every. y'all, y'all got me needing to take notes tonight because the amount of stuff I'm learning tonight is mind blowing. No proof. Yeah, but still, like, could they really charge her with anything since it was her husband and what, Gary or whatever his name was? Like, yes, she might. So is would Gary be her new husband if her actual husband sacrificed himself and put his soul in this young guy? The logic, y'all, the logic. She knew but didn't do anything, so there was. Okay, I guess that makes sense. She did nothing. In fact, he chose to end himself. She didn't do anything to help. Yeah, yeah. I guess. It just, that story, it's so weird, man. It's weird to me. I don't get it. But I guess I'm not supposed to. I'm just supposed to enjoy the storytelling and go from there. Soul transfer. Mm. That is easily it's crazy. It's crazy. But man, I'm so glad I only picked 2 videos because there that was a lot. But I appreciate you guys for rocking with me tonight. Thank you all for everybody who watched in the live tonight, not just everybody who commented. And again, I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, my guy. Reto Gaming. I apologize. Aaron Lewis, I appreciate you for rocking with me again. I hope you guys caught that memo. I'll keep playing it every day until the 13th. I hope you guys come back December 13th, 8 p.m. live. We might do some reactions while we wait for 9 o'clock to hit, but I'm excited for that giveaway, man. I hope you guys are as well. Well, Aaron just said something. Hold on. Buddhists don't follow a religion. They study the. Oh, really? Are you okay? And Buddha was a real person? Did he look the same? Was he like the image of the fat bald headed dude? Is that how he actually looked? I never knew Buddha was an actual person. That's kind of, well, never mind. Damn, I guess that's not dope at all. Well then, because Jesus was a real person too. So, man, I'm not getting into that comparison. I'm sorry. I apologize. But thank you for enlightening me. I didn't know that at all. Yep, I delved in a lot in these things with teenage detective. So see, and I'm very curious by nature. So um I love information. I love being educated on everything possible. I'm here for that for sure. So I love all the knowledge you guys are pouring into me tonight. I I hope I will be there on December 13th. I I, I appreciate it. I hope you can. I really do. I think it'll be a good time. I really do. Buddha was a mortal but a god at the same time. See, now I need to do more. I got to get in my studies on Buddha now cuz I just feel like there's so much misinformation, and I think that's what I went on my whole life. A lot of misinformation about things and people. So I'm gonna have to educate myself a little more after this. He gave up his royal status to seek enlightenment. Okay. Damn. Look at y'all, man. Man. Okay, thank you. Okay. All messiahs in history were human at the same time. They evolved and elevated, so they became too close to gods. Trying to think off the top. I guess that is right, huh? Okay. Man, that I appreciate y'all. I really do. I really do. Thank you so much for all this information. I'm definitely gonna get on my research, my Googles later, open some books and see what I can learn. But yeah, man, that's all I got for tonight, man. I love and appreciate every last one of you guys. Thank you so much for rocking with your boy tonight. Uh, like I said, I look forward and I hope to see everybody on the 13th. That live will only be an hour, but 9 o'clock hits, shutting down the draw, and we're picking a winner. So good luck to everybody out there, man. Again, love and appreciate all you for all the support. Thank you guys again for hopping in the live, hopping in the chat, keeping me educated as well as communicating. I enjoy lives more when I have people to talk back and forth with. I think that makes lives a lot better than me just sitting here with my dead stare being creeped out or whatever the case is throughout these videos. But yeah, that's all I got for tonight, man. Again, love and appreciate every last one of you guys. Until next time. Peace.